Hi guys, Game Talk Twente Ajax 1-1. We're discussing the game with Ajax. Ajax, a very tough game actually, very tough result also for us, 1-1. We didn't win that game. How much can we blame ourselves today?
I think a lot, because the players weren't up to speed and up to par this match. You could see it with everything. They were not there. They were physically there, but mentally they lost the battle today. And Twente just made a lot of havoc and a lot of duels and a lot of fouls also from my side. But the football was minimal today. And we are a team that has to play football, combination football, and be creative. And we got caught up in a fighting game. And from time to time, it almost looked like a pinball machine because the ball was going everywhere. And there was no tactic to be found. So I'm very disappointed. And I think the team can blame themselves, and Ten Hag should blame himself also, because today was far below par.
So I asked earlier Papimento as well. What do you think the reason is that we started like that? As you said, partly Twente came up, very strong, and they were trying to really annoy us and play physical game, aggression, etc. And also the referee plays a part as well. I'm not blaming Hitler, but Hitler also allowed a lot of things to happen. So what I'm trying to say is are we being too critical about Ajax, or do you think they had to be mentally prepared for this?
We should always be critical about Ajax, because we're the top team historically in the Netherlands, and we should win these kind of matches. We are the number one title candidate by many pundits, so we should win these games. And traditionally, these early games on Sunday, normally they're always a problem for Ajax, and I cannot explain to you why. But if you look at it historically, like last decade, a lot of matches that we played around 12:15, 12 o'clock, 12:30, a lot of times we had difficult matches and we lose points. So what the problem is, I cannot tell you. But today, you should always try to play your own football and not get caught up in fighting football. And also, yes, the referee also had his part in this match. But I think we cannot complain, because we could have easily gotten a red card for Alvarez with his punching while a player was already past him. So I think we got lucky there also. But what we can blame on the referee is that he didn't control the match. He just let the play continue too many times. Didn't punish Twente when they need to be punished by a card. Same goes for Ajax. So he was equally bad with his performance. But to get back to the match, Ajax should always play his own style of football. And today you just got caught up in fighting football, and they should try to combine. They should try to make an attacking style of football and try to let the quality surface and not get caught up in these fighting battles. So that is the blame to Ajax itself.
So we saw in the first half, as you mentioned, it didn't go the way we wanted, and everything that you just mentioned happened. So we go into halftime, then Ajax comes back. Everybody is hoping, that they come with something new, that they start maybe elevating the tempo, playing a bit different, playing better football, etc. But it didn't really happen, to be honest, because Twente just went on playing the same as they did in the first half. So, and then after 60 minutes, Ten Hag made substitutions, What do you think of what happened in the second half? Do you think we had to change something differently, or do you think just the whole team was just off today?
The whole team was off today. It almost looked like a friendly game, like pre-season friendly game. They were not like sharp and with a good mentality. But also, what is up with Ten Hag's substitutions?
What do you mean by that?
I can understand that he wants to maybe try to play Blind on the midfield because he wants to find an opening and with his passing game. But the past already showed it is not his ideal position. Gravenberch played a bad match the first 30 minutes. He had lost a lot of ball possession, but I think he was improving during the match. For me, if you had to substitute a midfielder, why didn't you substitute Klaassen? The only thing he did was elbow. But doesn't matter. You can also put Gravenberch on the 10 position and switch it around. But Klaassen didn't bring anything. Gravenberch could maybe force something during the game. He was improving. Also with Blind to the midfield, I understand his philosophy because he wants to create something, but there are also other measures for this. Why not substitute Haller? He was terrible today. He scored a goal, and I gave him a 5 with a goal scored, you know. Everything he did again today, and I want to give him time, but his first touch, his passing play, he's the player that is the most on the ground, but he's the strongest and biggest player on the pitch. What's up with that?
Yeah.
How is this possible? And I understand we should give him time, but Ten Hag should also be able to substitute him if it's not going well. And actually, Danilo almost had a better chance with his header at the end than Haller during his whole game, because everybody could have made that goal that he made. He was on the right spot at the right moment, but it was an easy flick in.
Yeah.
So tap in. So I think it just was terrible.
I think in the second half also Haller got a chance to head the ball and he had it off target. And Danilo got one chance and he had it on target, which is funny because you would think that Haller is a better header, can head the ball better than Danilo. That's strange. And look, I agree with you. I still think we have to give Haller a little bit of time, but things are not really going his way, you know, early in the season. And he's making his goals. I have to be honest about that. He's making goals and that's on his side. But in terms of the link-up play, the way he's playing, that's not really what we expect from an Ajax striker. So look, Haller, you mentioned Haller, you mentioned Blind, you mentioned a little bit Gravenberg. Are there any other players you want to highlight?
Yeah, like I said, Klaassen was terrible today.
Yeah,
I almost want to give, but not in a good way, but the old nickname from Roy Mackay to him, the Das Phantom, because he's called Mr. 1-0 because he scores a lot of 1-0 goals, but today he was invisible. You just don't see him. So like not in a good way, Das Phantom, but in a bad way. He was like a ghost. Nothing to add to the team. He was just playing 90 minutes with almost zero contribution. So this is a problem. I think Klaassen has some potential that he can add to the team because he can penetrate the box and he can score a goal and he can break open a match. But if you lack certain qualities with your striker that isn't good with the link-up play and isn't good with his first touches, then you have to have a super creative midfielder behind him that has these, these qualities to add to the team, to be creative. And he just doesn't have that quality. He can score a goal.
Yeah, are you saying that Haller and Klaassen are not the best match together?
Yeah. It's the same with Blind, with playing Blind on the midfield. He brings terrific passing, but he also brings liabilities that you need to balance around him, you know, with the defenders and with the matchup in the midfield with the other player. Same goes for Haller. If he cannot bring the link-up play and great first touches and make sure that if he falls deep into his own territory, that he can flick on the ball or pass the ball to another player so that the attack continues. If he cannot do this, then somebody else should bring that stuff. And he should just play the role as a finisher, close to the goal, as a position Huntelaar used to play. And now he tries to do the link-up play, but every time he almost fails. And additionally to that, he falls to the ground a lot. So I'm still positive. I'm still hoping that he would improve. But in a game like this, Ten Hag should substitute him earlier.
Okay, listen. Let me be clear. We didn't really. I think we didn't really deserve much more than what we got.
No,
but
I agree.
We were leading by 1-0, and we conceded very late the 1-1. Just from your perspective, do you think Stekelenburg could have done more?
Ideally, he would have saved it, but I think he didn't see the ball soon enough because there were two players in the trajectory of the shot that he just saw it a little bit late, and it was a well-placed shot by Prupper. So ideally, yes, but I can understand that he didn't save it because it was quite in the corner. And because he missed that fractional, that second, you know, before he could lock onto the ball, he was already too late. Yeah. So, I think it's just unfortunate.
All right. So last thing I want to ask you, should we be worried, or do you think this is just a one-off, things will pick up?
We should be worried, yes, because it didn't look good. The best football I've seen was the first half of the last game. But the second half of that game wasn't that good against PSV. Okay, it wasn't good, but we had our moments before the red card, and now this match it was just poor. So it's up to Ten Hag to make sure that the mentality of the players is good for the next matches, and also figure out how he wants to play, because something isn't connecting in the team in these kind of matches, and you have to figure out what is missing within this team. And I think a lot of depth is missing. We have wingers that don't go deep that much. We have a striker that falls back, but he just foils the ball. He just can combine. And we have a number 10 that just invisible from time to time. So we do have to have some players that bring some other qualities than that there are now within the team, I think. And depth is one of them, and speed. This is something we are missing at the moment.